to be part of that. And then, okay, it is 5:30. Welcome to the work session of the Trinidad Urban Renewal Authority. Today is March 13th, 2025, and the time is 5:30. Please turn off any cell phones, and if you have any personal discussions, take those out in the lobby area. Board, I'd like to see if we could move item 6 up in the agenda, as we have Tim joining us via Zoom, and out of respect for his time, we can just get his report maybe, and then we'll move through this thing there. Does that sound agreeable?
That's agreeable. Yes.
Commissioner Lopez?
Sure.
Okay. So Main Street, is anybody here from? I was going to move him to number 2. See if Main Street Live is here. Main Street Live. Anybody from Main Street Live? That's item 1, facade improvement incentive application.
Yes.
Okay. In the neck of time, Eric.
Couldn't figure out how to get in.
That's okay. So, Eric, we're at your point. Go ahead.
I heard you say that. Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead and come forward and
Go here.
yeah. Come forward and you're making application through Main for it on behalf of Main Street Live for. Now everybody should have gotten their information in the packet. Okay, so we'll look at this, and this is just the preliminary. This is the first kind of opportunity here to get us up to date. Please share with us.
We'd like to improve the appearance of the building in a couple of ways. One of them is just for cosmetic appearance. The other is that there's no signage on the building. I can hear myself. There's no signage on the building that says what it is. It says Main Street Live, but if you don't know what that is, if you're from out of town, or even if you're from in town, there's no difference in the building when there's a performance and when there isn't. And so what we'd like to do is to call attention to the fact that there's something going on at the building and identify it. So part of the signage says theater, and another is LED lights on the outside to kind of dress up the appearance of it, and a paint job to update it a bit.
Okay.
That's the overview.
Okay. I'm going to just jump right to board questions and comments along the line. We'll start.
Well, I'm all for it, and I think it'd be a great idea. And like I said, we're just getting to know and getting the word out there, and having a good front. You're came to the right place, and that's. I don't really have any other questions outside of just to go along with the procedures here. And
all right. Yeah, I was outside our building during Red Fest and during the Chili Fest, and people were asking, "What is this building?"
Yeah.
And those are potential visitors to our theater who are from out of town, let alone the folks who are here.
Do that. Yeah. Commissioner Lopez.
Thank you, Chairman. I'm sorry I'm not there in person with you. Quick question for you. A couple questions. We recently did a facade improvement grant for you a little over a year ago, I believe it was. Why wasn't this type of signage and lettering and lighting accomplished at that time? Was there different management or different group? Did you not have permission of the building owner to do so? What has changed, and why wasn't that completed at that time?
I can't speak to that. I have been told that it was everything from 2021 to 2023 by people who would be in the know about it. So I think it was longer than a year ago, but I wasn't here, so I don't know, sir. And as for change in management, yes, I'm the new executive director. I started August 1st, and when I came here to interview for the job in June of last year, I noticed right away that there was nothing on the building that identified it as a theater. So that's the best answer to that question, sir. I don't have much better than that.
Great, thank you. And then my second question is regarding the contract that I see in front of us. It seems very minimal. Is this accurate, the $2,600? Is that the total renovation cost in this packet that we see?
No, sir. That's just the grant for the LED lights, and it doesn't include installation. So it's really $3,100 when you add their installation costs. They did not include that in that estimate. I have a copy of it right here. It says $2,567, I think. And so the $500 installation cost is on top of that. But I didn't have that information at the time I made the application.
Okay, and that would be with the new paint that you discussed?
No, sir, that's just for the lights. That's just for the lights.
Okay, so we probably, I don't see that in my packet, Tara, unless we got something not submitted. Well, what's the total amount for your request in your in the overall project? As the Renewal does a percentage of that.
Okay, all right. I just handed a spreadsheet to Tara. I worked it up at the time. I had some difficulty with the application turning it in digital form, so perhaps this got dropped along the way. What was your question, sir? Sorry.
Well, just the overall cost in totality, including the contract, the contractor's bids, if that's been included, or I know we're like Chairman Howlett said, we're at the infant stages of this discussion with your project, but those are the type of things that I would like to see in the project in totality, with contractors' bids in place, so we would know, and they have to probably be guaranteed for a few number of months or a couple, a month or two, for this board to reconvene.
4,400 is the total.
Reassess all of that.
4,400 is the total cost of the project, and I know we're only eligible for a small portion of that.
10% of the total cost. Okay.
It's 25.
25, yes.
25, I'm sorry. Okay. So, last question would be, if this is approved, might have a little difficulty going through, since this organization they've had one, in the past, recent past, in a couple of years. However, I do see your dilemma with the building and identifying what the structure is. So you do have a good, in my thought process, an idea here to probably accentuate your facility and attract more people to your programs. I just need to see the title package in place, and then with the contractors, painters, and all of those bids all put in one packet together. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you. And so Eric, here's the thing. Everything that Commissioner Lopez just said is kind of where we need to get to.
Okay.
I don't think anybody would disagree that having a big theater sign on our theater that we love isn't an outcome we want.
Yeah, we have one on the one that we're not using as a theater.
Okay, so I think we like that project. Another thing that I was confused, and Commissioner Lopez actually asked some questions, is when we don't have the numbers of where the total project is, it's really hard for us in the beginning stages to really consume the application. So let's just kind of say the application is incomplete at this time. You're going to get the application completed with TURA booth, and then it will come back to us. Okay, it's 25% of the total.
Right.
Again, Commissioner Lopez pointed out something that it's not that you can't have phased things over a period of time with this facade grant, but the way I interpret our facade grant, and I'll get with our board between now and later on, this brings this point up, is that I think we have a 25% of the total cost, right?
Yes, sir.
With a maximum of $10,000. I think we're going to, if we have buildings, because again, we want these buildings to shine. We want these teeth on our Main Street smile to be smiling, right? But I think what we're going to want to do is there will be a cap at some time that a specific facade won't be able to go over the $10,000 that we would be able to do. And I think that's kind of a fair way of looking at this in case people have to do certain things over a period of time. You may be able to do that and come back to us, because we don't want to say, no, you've already been here once, right. Especially if you bring something back that's reasonable and something we all want. But I think what we're going to do is look at however long this facade grant has been out. So regardless of when the last one was, pre-you or several years ago, it still was a facade grant that the TURA invested in. So I think what we'd look at is saying, I think you're going to be looking at about $1,100, maybe $1,000 on this grant, correct?
Yes.
That's still within, and I've asked Tara to look at that number that we've already invested with you on that.
Yes, sir.
And wherever that ends up being, we're going to be okay to welcome you back. But when we hit some number that gets close to $10,000, we're going to say, we've done what we can do with you and your building. We've got other buildings in our service area that we need to address. Seems fair?
Sure. Yes.
Awesome. So what I'd suggest to do, Commissioner Lopez, anything else?
Yeah, Chairman, one more thing for this applicant is to make sure that you get with Tara and the city historical district to make sure that your changes that you're going to be putting onto the building are in compliance with their codes that they have.
I'll send you over the application for that.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, what I like about it is keep working with her. Okay, she's going to guide you down, and Nick can as well. Well, without any further questions or input from anybody, Commissioner Bagley, anything?
I think we're just needing you to move ahead with, we're incomplete.
Yeah, we look forward to seeing this application in full and helping you move forward.
All right.
Okay, thanks for being here.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And again, welcome to Trinidad.
Yeah.
What I'd like to do right now is actually, again, move item 6 up to item 2. That's the used lumber property update. We were fortunate enough to get Tim Lamb to join us tonight. Tim, thanks so much for doing this for us. And,
You're welcome.
And so if you could, I think most of the board knows Tim Lamb. Tim Lamb is with Kip Hampton Group. That's the group who will be developing the used lumber property. And Tim, if you have anything to kind of add with regards to introduction, please do so. Otherwise, just jump in with an update of where we are today.
Okay, well, we have 2 pieces of property, as you're aware, that we acquired through TURA. The one which I call the Hughes Lumber Building, we just were verbally awarded some historic tax credits from History Colorado. It's only taken like a year plus. We haven't seen the written award yet, but it's what we found in this award is we are waitlisted, they call it, which means that the funds have not been appropriated, but we've been approved. So when the funds get appropriated, then we can start doing work to renovate that building. The award that they've given us is a little over, right around $500,000 out of a total budget of about $1.6 million that we had submitted, and it's for things such as the roof, tuck pointing, new windows, build out of the first floor, which I think our design shows about 4 offices that we were building in there. The kind of finishing the basement out for storage, and upgrading all the services, utilities and services to the building. So as soon as we get to that point on the wait list, which could be another, I don't know, could be 6 months, could be a year. But there was a look back period. You had to do your work. You can only look back a year. There's some discussion now that we may have a 2-year look back. So if that's the case, we may be able to start work sooner, so that when we do it and if the funds don't get appropriated until 2027, we've got 2 years back. So to get those as authorized expenditures. So that's where we are on that. So that is positive. We're looking forward to get started on that. And I think that's a project that won't take that long to actually do. So that's on that building. On the property at Cedar and Chestnut, that's the one that's slated for us to build a new dealership. Well, we've been struggling a little bit with Ford here lately on things that Ford wants. So that's kind of fitting into where our plans. And basically, I've got to say, in all honesty, with Jay passing, we've sort of put some of that stuff on hold right now just to see where we're at, how our dealerships are doing, and then really what we're looking to do is downsize the footprint that we had originally done, because we don't need that size for Trinidad. It was a 33,000 square foot building. We started at like 13,000. And then between Ford and Stellantis, Chrysler, it kept getting bigger and bigger, and now we're working at trying to do some sort of downsizing. So And that's the one that we got we got an additional 3-year extension from you, from your commission to give us a little bit of time to figure out what to do next. So that's the update. That's the status. So are there any questions?
Yes, let me start with Commissioner Lopez. Commissioner Lopez, do you have any questions for Tim?
Yes, thanks. Good to see you, Tim. Well,
good to see you.
Well, sorry I'm not there in person. That I've got that bug going around.
Oh,
right. Just briefly, Tim, thanks for the update coming forward with us. We do have some folks that are asking questions about the progress and stuff. So that's why we asked you to invite you to be here with us this evening. As being neck deep in politics for the past 8 years and now out of county commissioner's office, I was very advised of the budget for 2025 with the state budget and with a $1.2 billion deficit. History Colorado is probably one of the first ones that's cut on some of those funding mechanisms being put in place, along with all the other type of programs similar to that. It's still not sure how they're going to come up with it, and I'm still involved heavily with Front Range Passenger Rail, and all of those funding mechanisms are looking at getting not appropriated as well. So, in stating those comments, I know we did a financial look at your group's financing a few years ago. We did the extension a year ago, and in-depth look on that. What is a backup plan if those that $500,000 is not available through History Colorado for the Hughes Lumber building? Or do you think you feel comfortable moving forward with that being awarded, even though it's not funded?
Well, I'm comfortable right now with it being awarded because it's better than it was about a week and a half ago. So, but what we would probably do, and we haven't really discussed it yet, is we would look at having maybe a reduction in what we were doing. We would probably focus on the exterior of the building. One of the things we wanted to do with the building, which we will still do, is change the storefront to, that's something that's been approved, to make it look during that period. Unfortunately, there's, through diligent, years of diligent search, nobody was able to find a picture of that building when 75, 80 years ago. So we don't know what it looked like, but what has been approved by History Colorado is similar to what we have on Main Street for some of our properties there. And so that's what they've approved. So we would probably do the exterior, the tuck pointing, do a new roof on it. The roof isn't leaking, but it's seen its years. So, and then focus on maybe doing something a little less expensive on the interior. So I think that's generally what we would be looking at doing for that building. We still want to get it. Right now, we paid money for it, and it's not generating anything for us. We want it to be a property that we use.
Right.
So
going hand in hand with the Chrysler Jeep dealership, with Ford being out of it, looks like in the future. Okay, just so I could wrap my head around it and keep the community updated. The extension was for 3 years on the lots for the dealership, and then this particular building, you are full-fledged into moving forward. So I don't think there was a request for that at this time. So thank you for the updates and for being with us this evening. That's all, Chairman.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Mr. Lopez. Commissioner Bagley.
Yes, Tim, thank you very much for coming here or being here tonight with us. And those are just some questions. I think both Commissioner and Chair, you've already asked a lot of the questions. I'm kind of overseeing the, going down to the Hughes building and checking things out. And I've worked with Carl, talked with him monthly, and just being concerned about the progress. And you provided that explanation tonight, which I'm very glad about. But I'm directly involved through this commission, and I just want to make sure that I heard what I heard tonight, and I'm glad. One of the things that I do want to ask is when you mentioned about the storefront, That has been a continuing conversation with Carl Gabrielson. Looking forward to doing that first, and I think that would be ideal. And another thing too is if it does drag on, do we have to have bids rebid or anything like that, or does it have anything to do with just because of the time element? Is there is it going to be more expensive later as we go down the line, or to me it seemed like that would be a normal thing? It would be a little more expensive as we went along.
The way the construction industry has been going, it probably will be a little more expensive, but we're not really concerned about that at this point. I mean, we have we have plans, we have construction drawings, we have things to proceed with. So we've already spent that money on it as far as all the preparation. So getting the work done would allow us to use that building, because right now, again, as I said, we're not benefiting from it. It's an expense that we've incurred, and we're not seeing any return on it. So we've got to get this done. In History Colorado, the historic tax credits has been a big piece of our capital stack to go forward with this project. If we don't get it, we'll figure out a way to get the work done and maybe a little less cost, but we'll still get it done.
Okay.
So we really do want to get that building into our usable properties, so we can benefit from it. So
okay.
We looked at that building for a long time, and I don't know if it ever got conveyed before, but I couldn't tell you how many times I approached the city on that building before they finally said, well, maybe we can figure out a way for you guys to buy it, or at least bid on it. And because we've looked at this a number of times over probably the last 10 years. So it's a building we liked, we thought it had a good use for us, and we still do.
Okay. Well, thank you for the update, and I have no other questions, but that's perfect. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Tim, again, welcome and thank you. So, yeah, you didn't acquire that building to sit on it.
Right.
You guys are the motivated party here. I'll also add that the acquisition of that building enriched TURA. That's going to allow us to do other work. And so I always want to acknowledge when we have good partners that they're doing things that actually allow us to do more of the work that's in our mission, okay? And so when I look at just the world as it is today, I think flexibility should be something we kind of have on the side as a tool. And so I think you're going to find us to be flexible. What I would like to propose, though, is to be able to move Commissioner Begley off of a monthly report, because we just got a report that probably is longer term than that, and he's been spending time with that. He's met with Carl Gabrielson. My understanding is Carl, his company that you guys have, his company is now his company, and Kip Hampton is Kip Hampton. And although I'm sure you guys will do a lot of great work again together, I think the entities have changed, is my understanding. And so I'd like to maybe have it to where Commissioner Begley, if he's agreeable to it, does this on a quarterly report, and he can either reach out to you, somebody on your team, or whomever, so we can do that and free him up of that, because it just doesn't make sense to have a report, have it on our agenda, and then the report is we have no report. And we'll talk about that, but I'm, again, appreciative you came in there. Do you guys still have the Ford label?
We have.
You mentioned it.
We have Ford Parts and Service.
Okay.
In Trinidad. Ford was, for a long time, was not happy of having two Ford stores in a rural community, like 18 miles apart.
Yep.
But when Jeff Cook owned the store in